Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Om Srimad Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna. Giriraj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. 2 minutes, Prabhuji. I'm going to share my screen. దీపమాతజీ అంటే మీరు ఫ్రీ ఉన్నారా మాతజీ? నా ల్యాప్టాప్ ఇది టైం పడుతుంది. హరే కెన్ ఐ మేక్ యూ హోస్ట్ మాతజీ?
Yes, Prabhuji.
యా, అది ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే మాతజీ. మాతాజీ చేశాను మాతాజీ.
Yeah, Prabhuji. What are we doing, Prabhuji? No?
చైతన్య చరిత్రం అయిపోయినట్టుంది అమ్మా. అయిపోయింది కదా లాస్ట్ నేను. ఇప్పుడు ద్రౌపద లీలామృతికి వెళ్ళాలి మాతాజీ మనం.
Seventh chapter.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We'll start with chapter 7, Jhansi, the League of Devotees. Wanted candidates from any nationality to qualify themselves as real Brahmins for preaching the teachings of Bhagavad Gita for all practical purposes throughout the whole world. Deserving candidates will be provided with free boarding and lodging at Lai, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, founder and secretary of the League of Devotees, Bharti Bhavan, P.O. Jhansi, UP, Abhay Charan Day. It was another 12-hour ride with dozens of stops. The train's rattling and clattering and its rocking from side to side made writing difficult, but Abhay, crowded on the wooden bench with other third-class passengers, kept writing. Within the dingy compartment, passengers eyed one another complacently, and soot and dust blew in the open windows as the train sped along. Outside, past the monotonous embankment of loose stones, bright violet trumpet flowers bloomed on tall stalks in the shallow trackside ditches. Water buffalo and oxen grazed in the distance, or sometimes pulled a plough before a solitary farmer. Abhay was going to Jhansi not for business but for preaching. 1 month before, in October 1952, when Abhay had visited Jhansi on business, Mr. Dubey, a customer and the owner of Jhansi Hospital, had invited him to lecture at the Gita Mandir. Many Jhansi people appreciated things religious or humanitarian, whether from Vaishnavas, Theosophists, Mayavadis, politicians, or whatever. They regarded almost any path as dharma as long as it showed some edifying piety or tended towards the public welfare. Mr. Dubey had read with interest several issues of Back to Godhead and had therefore requested Abhay to speak. Abhay had been eager, and he had found keen interest among the audience of more than 100 people, many of them young medical students and graduates from the local Ayurvedic college. Hare Krishna. Samyukta Mataji unnara?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, welcome back.
Yes, Mataji.
Chadvan Mataji.
Abhay was 56 and his commanding presentation of Krishna consciousness had impressed the young, religious-minded people of Jhansi. 25-year-old Prabhakar Mishra, principal of the Vedanta Sanskrit College and head medical officer of the Jhansi Ayurvedic University, saw that Abhay was very forceful in his desire to spread Krishna consciousness. Dr. Mishra regarded him as a kind of guru, although dressed in white. Here is a humble person, he thought, a real sadhu. Short and stocky, Dr. Shastri, just beginning his career in Ayurvedic medicine, was an active young man fascinated by Abhay's purity and his vision of a world movement for distributing India's culture. Older men like Tall Save Ramcharan, Haiharan Mitra, a utensil shopkeeper who wrote poetry and wore a white Nehru cap, also wanted to learn more about Lord Chaitanya from Abhay. Dr. Mullik, who was the Gita Mandir secretary, and Dr. Siddhi from the university, along with their wives, had sincerely approached Abhay after his talk and asked him to please visit Jhansi again.
Continue, Mataji.
Abhay had come to them not as a pharmaceutical salesman or as a man with family concerns, but purely as a devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although the specific applications of Krishna consciousness as given by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati were new to his audience, these teachings have interested them. And the more Abhay had expressed these teachings and spoken of his ambitions for spreading Krishna's message, the more his hearers and had encouraged them. Several of them had suggested he conduct his mission in Jhansi, and they had promised to help him. Dr. Shastri had even invited Abhay to come live with him. He would introduce Abhay to important citizens and arrange for lectures in the various meeting places of Jhansi. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
After staying for 10 days, Abhay had returned to Allahabad, but remembering Jhansi, he had been unable to concentrate on his business. Something more important was on his mind, the need for an association of devotees propagating the teachings and practices of Krishna consciousness worldwide. With the Gaudiya Math now broken into permanent schisms, his godbrothers conducting their own private ashramas in separate locales, apparently impervious to any reconciliations. Something would have to be done if the overwhelming atmosphere of godlessness were to be corrected. There must emerge, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had envisioned, a league of preachers with activities worldwide. The nations of the world had sought unity through the League of Nations and recently through the United Nations. The League had failed, and so would the United Nations unless it recognized the true spiritual unity and equality of all living beings in terms of their intimate relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Abhay did not expect any good to come of such organizations. Though they wanted peace and unity, their attempts were simply another feature of godlessness. No, creating peace and unity was the duty of Vaishnavas. So Abhay had been thinking that perhaps a likely place to start an organization of devotees would be Jhansi. It was not a major city, but at least he had found concerned people. The students had listened and accepted and had said they would help. Abhay had sensed a certain lack of sincerity and depth in their appreciation and a sentimentality that made him doubt their seriousness. But if he could find a few or even one who was serious, then he would have a beginning. He wanted to preach, that was his mission. Besides, he was already getting older. If something were to be gained, it should be now. So he would go to Jhansi again to stay for an indefinite duration. Without much concern for his Allahabad affairs, Abhay left his pharmaceutical business with his son and nephew, informing that he, he was going to Jhansi.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Lavanya Mataji unnara?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
As the train pulled into the station, Abhay saw Dr. Shastri waving energetically. They rode together by Tanga to Dr. Shastri's dispensary, and the talkative, effusive doctor promised many preaching opportunities and interviews. Dr. Shastri also spoke of the lore of Jhansi. The site of the present city had formerly been a part of the forest in which Ramachandra had practiced austerities for many thousands of years ago. The Pandavas had lived here during their exile, and since then, many great Vedic sages had their hermitages in the area. Jhansi had also been the home of Indian heroine Lakshmi Bai, who in the mid-19th century had taken part in starting the Indian independence movement against the British regime. Statues and pictures of Lakshmi Bai riding a horse and holding a sword in her upraised hand were displayed throughout the town. But the Jhansi of 1952 was a crowded, poor city with dirty streets, and minimal technological amenities. May I continue, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Dr. Shastri lived alone in two-story rented building in Jhansi's Sipri Bazaar. On the first floor, he had his clinic, and upstairs his one-room residence, which he had offered to share with Abhay. The young but influential doctor was a good person to introduce Abhay to respective citizens of Jhansi, and he was eager to do so. Outgoing and energetic, he moved easily among the people of his town. He was respectable towards Abhay, who was twice his age and whom he appreciated as being firmly fixed in the Vaishnava philosophy and the way of life. Dr. Shastri saw it as his duty to help Abhay, and he gladly introduced Abhay to others and arranged for lectures. Abhay and Dr. Shastri would cook to eat together like a family members. Abhay revealed his idea for a league of devotees, an organization with worldwide scope, but based in Jhansi. The citizens of Jhansi, he said, should all take part in the helping.
महेश ऑफिस के निकल गए, मुझे ऑफिस आ रहा है, बस नहीं आ रहा है यार.
The citizens of Jhansi, he said, should all take part in helping spread Lord Krishna's mission. Lord Chaitanya had said that Indians have a special responsibility to distribute God consciousness, both in India and around the world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Vani Mataji, చదవగలరా?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, ikkadi nunchi చదవండి.
Dr. Shastri nunchi Mataji. Okay. Dr. Shastri in his heart always, it was burning that the whole world was suffering in the materialistic view. Everyone is busy in eat, drink, and be merry. So the whole day he was touring and preaching his mission that was prescribed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Guru Maharaj. He was having iron will, determination, and self-confidence about his mission. He was not doubtful at all. He was Dridhavrita, staunchly determined. Actually, he was always preaching hard, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, Kalau nasteva, 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 gatiranyatha. No other way except Hare Krishna Nama. So always discussing, sometimes the whole night he was discussing with me, and sometimes I was fed up. I was requesting, please don't disturb me. Please let me sleep. And he, the old man missionary worker, he was just like a young man. I was a young chap and he was just like my friend, my elder brother. He was like my guide and teacher because a preacher is a friend, philosopher, and guide. He was always trying to create a good atmosphere through Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The whole Bhagavad Gita was his practical life. His mission was not a mission of preaching only, but of practical action. He was also trying to catch me for this mission, and I would try to slip away. I did not think that he would do any miracle for spiritual revolution of the world, although that is what he urged us. While Dr. Shastri tended his clinic, Abhay sat and spoke with patients, occasionally recommending medicines, but mostly preaching. For now, he was content to live and preach in Jhansi. Here was life, people receptive to his preaching, who responded to his urging them to chant Hare Krishna. His desire and determination to leave everything else behind and preach day and night, depending on Krishna for the result, were increasing.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Raju Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. He began regularly lecturing and chanting at various programs in the city, sometimes at several on one day. On Sundays, he would lecture at the Sadhana Mandir, another day at Gita Mandir, another day at the Theosophical Society, and regularly in people's home. Mr. Ram Mitra, the shopkeeper poet, maintained at Shiva temple near his home, and Abhay began to perform Kirtana and lecture there. Sometimes Mr. Mitra would speak in Hindi on Bhagavad Gita at the Sadhana Mandir, and Abhay would attend. Sometimes Abhay would visit Mr. Mitra at his utensils shops. The shop was in crowded Jhansi Bazaar, and open onto the busy street. Abhay would sit down like an ordinary customer, amidst stacks of stainless steel buckets, plates, bowls, and lotus, and speak to Mr. Mitra and friends about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Or sometimes he would listen to Mr. Mitra tell about his published book of poetry and his literary reputation. Mr. Mitra saw that Abhay's ambition was no less than to make the whole city of Jhansi alive with Krishna consciousness. Abhay quoted Chaitanya Charitamrita, one who has received the great fortune of taking birth in India should make his life perfect and then do good for others by spreading Krishna consciousness. And Abhay would add, the whole world is waiting, Mr. Mitra, for our spiritual revelation. Mr. Mitra would nod his handsome Nehru-like face forming a smile, but he saw that Abhay wanted people to do more than merely listen to him. He wanted them to do something. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Lakshman Prabhu.
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Once Mr. Mitra offered Abhay a copy of his book, showing him the foreword by a famous man, and repeatedly mentioned that the great sadhu Vinoba Bhave had liked the poems very much. When Mr. Mitra learned that Abhay was a regular milk drinker, he began offering Abhay fresh milk daily from his cow, a black cow. And black cows, Mr. Mitra said, gave especially good milk. Abhay invited Mr. Mitra to accompany him on foot to nearby villages along with a kirtan party for preaching. But Mr. Mitra declined, being unable to get anyone to tend the shop for him. Another young Ayurvedic doctor was Dr. Siddhi, who immediately expressed interest in Abhay's enthusiastic plans for spreading Krishna consciousness. Dr. Siddhi said, so this is what Dr. Siddhi shared about Prabhupada. Okay. He came several times to my place. I've got a kirtan room on my roof, and he performed kirtana there as well as at the Gita Mandir. We were also going daily to the Theosophical Society. There was an atmosphere, a very pious, sacred, and calm atmosphere. When the kirtan and preaching and lectures were performed, he used to play harmonium. We accompanied him for meeting people and preaching his mission. The main thing was to perform kirtan and give a lecture on Bhagavad Gita and the life of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was his Lord, and I also loved him. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Akinchan Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Please read.
Radhelal Bulik, secretary of Gita Mandir and Sadhana Mandir, began meeting often with Abhay. Radhelal Bulik. I was very much influenced by him. I used to spend 3 or 4 hours every morning in his association. He had many big scriptures. He was mainly concerned about the books about Sri Chaitanya.
Sorry.
He was also writing at that time. The president of Gita Mandir and I both volunteered to cook for him. It was during the morning walk with Radhelal Bulik that Abhay first spotted the Bharati Bhavan, a picturesque temple complex across from the large Altia pond. The neighborhood known as Alitia Tal was quiet and sparsely populated, but it was near Shipari Road and Vale thoroughfare between downtown Jhansi and Shipari Bazaar. Abhay inquired from Mr. Malik about the temple, and together they turned from the main road and walked down a sloping footpath that led through the main gates of the compound.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Surendra Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There they found several scheduled acres nestled within a grove of neem and mango trees. The main structure was the Radha Memorial. It was a small like chapel, but its proportions were stout and bold. Sitting on the octagonal stone base, it rose on 8 ornate pillars of red and white chipped marble to a stone dome on top. 2 elephants bearing the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, on their upraised trunks decorated the entrance. Concrete bunting and striped patterns of red, green, and blue added to the decorative yet massive effect. The entrance was marked with the words Radha Smarak carved in Hindi script, and above it, English translation Radha Memorial. When Abhay saw the Sanskrit inscription across the side of the stone temple, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he turned to Radhelal Malik and said strongly, "The Lord has built this building for my use." From that moment, Abhay was determined to have the building. Mr. Malik explained that the temple has been built in 1939 as a memorial to the wealthy Vaishnava landowner Radhabai, but at the present was not in use. Dr. Prabhakar Mishra, whom Abhay had already met on several occasions, was occupying some of the rooms, but otherwise it was deserted. Mr. Malik and Abhay sought Dr. Mishra in his quarters in the main building, and when Dr. Mishra saw Abhay's enthusiasm, he invited Abhay to stay there with him. Dr. Mishra confirmed that except for his Sunday morning Gita class, the facility was sitting idle, and he welcomed Abhay to carry on his writings and preachings there.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Gaurav Prabhu, आपका नहीं हुआ ना?
Yes, sir. अभी हुआ नहीं है.
Yeah, please read, Prabhuji.
Okay. Abhay liked the idea. Immediately, he began thinking of uses of the building, surveying the land with increasing interest. A second larger building, also with stone pillars and facades, held a hall and 5 rooms. Abhay made mental plans for each room. In this room, Kirtana and the lectures with the larger gathering. In this room, the deity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this room, resident brahmacharis and sannyasis, guests here, an office there, the printing press here. There was even land for grazing a cow. It was self-contained unit. Hundreds of people could come here for kirtana, prasadam, and discourses. Preachers could go out from the disturbing back to Godhead magazines, distributing back to Godhead magazines. Some could even go abroad with Lord Chaitanya's message. As Abhay and his companions walked through the compound, appreciating it as a suitable place to start an ashram, his companions encouraged him, saying they were sure that Mr. Reva Sankar Bhayal, the agent who had handled all the properties of Radha Bhai's descendants, would have no objections to Abhay's living there. Why couldn't the landlord give him the building? Abhay asked. They were simply going to waste. If it were actually to be memorial to Radha, it should be used in Krishna's service, since Krishna is Radha's worshipful god. Abhay was determined and his friend agreed to help him. First, they met with Ram Mitra, who said he was such a close friend of Mr. Bhayal's, and Mr. Bhayal would probably give the place simply at his request. Dr. Shastri said that he also wanted to go impress upon Mr. Bhayal how much the people of Jhansi wanted Abhay to have this place. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. Chandramali Prabhu, can you read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. When Reva Shankar Bayal met his friend Ram Mitra, also present were Abhay, Dr. Shastri, Redhelal Malik, Prabhakar Mishra, and Surya Mukhi Sharma, young educated Jhansi women. They presented the case from several angles, and Mr. Bayal listened. He agreed that he was not using the place at present, and it seemed to be a good cause. He agreed to let Abhay use the facilities of his league of devotees for as long as he liked, and at Abhay's request, he agreed to become a member of the league. They shook hands. On behalf of the estate, Mr. Bayal presented the Bharti Bhavan properties in charity to Abhay Charan Dey and the League of Devotees. During December and January, Abhay prepared a League of Devotees charter. He wanted to begin vigorous, extensive preaching following the example of his spiritual master. Once he began to set his goals to paper, the project immediately began to expand beyond Jhansi, beyond India. Of course, the League of Devotees was for the young people of Jhansi. They were already expressing great interest, but Abhay's charter described more than merely evening classes and kirtana. It was a broad scheme, including description of the 4 orders of society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and detailed plans to accommodate a worldwide religious movement. The charter set forth a probationary period for prospective members. It described a spiritual initiation. It arranged for economic reciprocation between individual members and the league. It arranged to provide lodgings for preachers, and it defined prohibited activities. Prohibited activities, illegitimate connection with women, intoxicating habit. I lost the text.
1 second, devotees. 1 second.
Kiraj Prabhu is reclaiming the house structure.
No, it's.
Sorry, devotees. Actually, why I haven't not joined, because in this family, the Prabhu, Sudhanya Prabhu's Mataji, she left her body little while ago. So we are in that call. So we'll pray for her. I'll share the video once again. After that, after reading. In the very auspicious moment, Prabhuji chanting Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, and then other devotees chanting various prayers. She left her body. 85-year-old Mataji. She lives in Bangladesh, Kolkata, Balurghat, West Bengal Vaishnavis, Gaudiya Vaishnavis. And her husband, 95-year-old. You can see that video. I'll share sometime. Yes. So where are we? Let me share. Chat mein, yeah. Okay. Sure. Thank you very much, Mataji, for managing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry for the.
Yeah. You can take care. Really now.
Dhiraj Prabhu shares చేస్తున్నాను.
Almost done. Under 1 month time అయిపోయిందా? How is Mataji? Jhansi. The League Audience. So this is a pre-ISKCON institution, Professor started in India. And so, control V. Yes. Read again, Prabhu, this paragraph. Chandra Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu. I think you have to come down a little bit, Prabhu.
Okay. అది
కూడా
It was a broad scheme including the description of 4 orders of society.
ఇదా ఇది ఇదిలో
కొంచెం డౌన్ రండి. అను కొంచెం కొంచెం పైకి రండి రోజు.
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya,
Shudra. ఎక్కడ కింద పైన
పైకి ప్రభుజీ ఇంకా ఇంకొక పైకి ద నెక్స్ట్ వన్.
ఓకే ప్రభుజీ. Read during December. ఈ యొక్క paragraph చదవండి. Again we'll do one more time.
During December and January, Abhay prepared a League of Devotees charter. He wanted to begin vigorous extensive preaching, following the example of his spiritual master. Once he began to set his goals to paper, the project immediately began to expand beyond Jhansi, beyond India. Of course, the League of Devotees was for the young people of Jhansi. They were already expressing great interest, but Abhay's charter described more than merely evening classes and Kirtana. It was a broad scheme including a description of 4 orders of society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and detailed plans to accommodate a worldwide religious movement. The charter set forth a probationary period for prospective members. It described spiritual initiation. It arranged for economic reciprocation between individual members and the League. It arranged to provide lodgings for preachers, and it defined prohibited activities, illegitimate connection with women, intoxicating habit, diets other than regulated strictly on vegetable kingdom, gambling, and unnecessary sporting or recreation enterprises.
Thank you very much, Pudi. So again, we'll read. Anybody not read one time? I think everybody read once, huh? Haribol.
Yeah, finished, I think.
అందరూ ఒకసారి చదివినారా?
నేను చదవలే ప్రభుజీ.
ఈ ప్రభుజీ
చదవండి ప్రభుజీ.
Adinath Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu, and you Prabhuji, I think.
Okay, will do. Sapan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. To establish league with the registrar in Lucknow, Abhay required a memorandum of association signed by league members. In this document, which was to list the objectives of the society, Abhay expressed his vision for the continuation of his spiritual master's mission. Like his god brothers who had created new mathas, After the dissolution of the Gaudiya Mutt, Abhay was forming a new branch of the Gaudiya Sampradaya to be called the League of Devotees. He was not simply claiming proprietorship of a few buildings, he was establishing a Krishna conscious society that would expand into a world movement. His intentions were clear, not insular, but were directed towards creating centers for spiritual development all over the world. Abhay wrote, Lord Chaitanya revealed the transcendental process of approaching the absolute Godhead, and in his teachings, nothing appears to be observed from the point of human reasoning, and nothing against any religion as accepted by human and civilized world. In enumerating the League's goals, he included the opening of centers in all parts of the world, thus establishing the League as an international organization for spiritual development through education, culture, as also by recruiting members from all nations, creeds, and castes. The League would publish literature in many languages and print a monthly magazine, Back to Godhead.
Read
Stop
these
shall
two lines.
Abhay obtained the necessary signatures for his memorandum of association. He then took the train to Lucknow and on February 4, paid the deposit of 50 rupees and filed his application. He returned to Jhansi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Mana Vishwambar Sharan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In his room in the Radha Memorial, Abhay would rise daily at 4 a.m. and arouse his young neighbor, Prabhakar Mishra. From 5 to 4, Abhay would write. At 5, he would walk in the Antya Tal tree. At 53, bathe and then chant Hare Krishna on his beats until 7. When he would hold a class on the Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam, although Prabhakar Mishra was usually the only listener, at 8 he would return to his literary work, typing until after 10. When he would begin to prepare a meal, in the afternoon he would often go around Jhansi meeting people and preaching, looking for anyone willing to take part in the League of Devotees. In the early evening, he would write until 7. When he would prepare for the Kirtana and lecture, he would hold at one of the various places in the city, depending on where he was invited. Although Abhay had no money for continuing back to Godhead, a well-established part of his preaching was to write essays regardless of whether they were to be immediate published or not. He wrote a long essay, some 24,000 words, entitled Message of Godhead. He also wrote a series of chapters propounding the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, especially as they applied to world problems and science of devotion. A summary study of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I will read this one. This will stop after this one. Let me read. On May 16, 1953, Abhay held a grand opening celebration for the League of Devotees. 1953, May 16. With continuous readings, Kirtana and Prashadam distribution from early morning until night. The buildings are decorated with leaves, flowers, and many earthen water pots. In the evening, when attendance was the greatest, Abhay lectured from the 9th chapter, Bhagavad Gita and Rajaguhya Yoga. Prabhakar Mishra conducted a fire sacrifice. Several Brahmanas chanted mantras from Brahma Samhita. Guests received a 16-page prospectus containing Abhay's essay on the need for the League and an excerpt from the charter explaining its goals. It was signed Om Tat Sat, Abhay Charanaravinda, Bhaktivedanta founder and secretary. Another 3 paragraphs. The opening was a pleasant, auspicious event for the people of Jhansi, and hundreds gathered in the evening for Abhay's lecture. Dr. Sharma, a charter member of the League and editor of the Jhansi daily newspaper, had already publicized the event and was planning a write-up for the following day. The Gaudiya Patrika also reported on the opening. The editor of the local Theosophical Society, Sri Lakshminarayana Rajapali, was also present, although he holds different philosophical opinions from Bhaktivedanta Prabhu. He is very sympathetic with this movement. In the assembly, there were many people worth mentioning. The inauguration and establishing of deities will be done soon. The assembly will request Rajapati Sri K. Munshi to perform the inauguration ceremony. Their center has been registered by the Society's Registration Act. Sri Bharati Bhavan is the name of the league's building, in which they have a lecture hall, a temple, and that resembles a palace. The assembly has many activities at the center, and there are also facilities for members to live there. Abhay felt confident that the Bharati Bhavan would now be established and recognized as the home of the League of Devotees. He was happy to see that the opening day was not merely his private affair, but an event celebrated by the most important citizens of Jhansi. So we'll stop here. I want to talk this, Gaudiya Vaishnava family. Just 2 minutes, and we'll go through the Sloka recitation. Let me share this video. That's the beauty of devotees association and devotional life. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna share this. Basically, where right now I'm living, Prabhu's name is Sudhanya Purandardas. Nice, perfect, nice devotee, Bengali Vaishnava. So his father and mother. His father, if you look at here, that father is a 95-year-old. He lives in Bangladesh. The mother Prabhu's mother just left little while ago. They lives in Bhalurghat. His name is Bhalurghat. It's in nearby Kolkata. So probably they had a Facebook Messenger call. Prabhuji's father is still a 95-year-old. Every day Mangalarati, all 120 rounds something he's doing. And but Mataji also perfect Vaishnavi. She knows all the prayers, Narayana Paraveda, Narayana Paraveda, Madhu Kaita Bare, various prayers connects to Krishna. And glorious moment, just 2 hours ago, everybody chanting 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji reciting, and their family members, they were doing different prayers that she knows, and she closed her eyes and left her body. This is just after little while ago, we got a call, you can see. So nice, the Mataji name is Lalita Paul Mataji. And Prabhuji name is Narendra Paul Prabhu. You can see the mother is already left the body. 95-year-old Prabhuji, Bengal Vaishnava, very well. Okay, so we'll pray for this soul. Okay, 3 times Hare Krishna mantra. So that's the thing. Okay, let us do. All of you unmute yourself 3 times Hare Krishna mantra for the departed soul. Her name is Lalita Mataji. Please keep her in your prayers. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Thank you so much. So we'll back to our recitation. Let me share.
Sorry, Lalit Puja, I'm not able to share the slokas. Girish Prabhuji, can you share the slokas in group?
Yeah, we'll do. Yes, Prabhuji. So 2 చేద్దాం Prabhuji. ఈరోజు ఇది ఒకసారి ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసి ఇది ఒకసారి రిసైడ్ చేసి అందరం ఒకసారి చేద్దాం అక్కడ. దెన్ టుడే విల్ లర్న్ టు అకామ సర్వకామోవ, దెన్ చతుశ్లోకి భాగవతం, దిస్ వర్స్ ఆల్సో. ఓకే ప్రభు, I will be here until 9:20 of our India time. Okay. So Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaiva students, Deepa Mataji, she is busy. Vani Mataji, can you recite? Raju Prabhu, the next, and I will do after you. Otherwise, I will do first. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 1st chapter, 6th verse. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Bhyam Swadharma parinistaya janmalabha parapumsam ante narayana smritihi. Translation: the highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of God at the end of life. Babuji, we are ready.
Actually, this is a correct, suitable verse for that Lalita Mataji. She is very
Yes,
Antena.
Antena. Correct.
Time should be
Narayana Smriti, and so fortunate is kids reciting. His kid, her kids, sorry, her kids are reciting, and
She
she
has
left the
that
body.
remembrance power.
She's her eye, sorry, her ear still very active till last moment.
Yeah.
I mean, Krishna consciousness. Very fortunate.
Who are the Prabhuji? Who is she?
What Prabhu?
ఎవరు వాళ్ళు ప్రభుజీ? వాళ్ళు ఎవరు ప్రభుజీ? మాతాజీ, లలిత మాతాజీ. మాతాజీ ఎవరు ప్రభుజీ?
మాత ఈ ఇంట్లోనే ఉంటున్నారు కదా ప్రభు, సుధన్య పురంధర్ ప్రభు అని వాళ్ళ మదర్.
ఓకే ఓకే. సో మీరు ఎక్కడైతే ఉంటున్నారో వాళ్ళ
ఈ ప్రభు వాళ్ళ మదర్.
ఓకే ఓకే.
రీసెంట్లీ విజిటెడ్ హర్ మదర్. Just 1 month spent, good time. He came back.
So she is right now she is in Bangladesh, Prabhuji.
Bangladesh. It's in Balurghat. It's Kolkata. He have to Kolkata.
Okay. Prabhuji 95 years old, Mataji 80 plus, 84.
In front of his eyes, 2 of his wives slept. 95-year-old Prabhu. 120 rounds every day, 120 plus rounds. Japa chestaranta ayana. And very little eating. Some rice, some dal siddha, no oil, just ghee toni. He maintaining so nice. By looking at him, I am very surprised and amazed how he is maintaining his body and serving Krishna. 120 rounds is not easy every day in that advanced age. He is still strong. He doesn't have any eye specs. No. It's Krishna's mercy. Everybody. So Prabhu, you want to recite or Vani Mataji, Hare Krishna? We'll give everybody to do once.
Yeah, I'll read.
एतावान् सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मा परिनिष्ठयां जन्मलाभा परां पुंसाम् अन्ते नारायणा स्मृति. The translation: the highest perfection of human life achieved by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic power, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of God at the end of life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Vani Mata, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Vani Mata. Okay. Deepa Mata, are you able to do? Not sure. Okay. So now other devotees. Samyukta Mata.
Unnan Prabhuji.
Yeah, change.
एतावान् सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मा परिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभः परं पुंसाम् अन्ते नारायण स्मृतिः. The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Vani Mataji, Hare Krishna. Still there? I'm just calling by Mataji. Anyway. Okay. Mataji, Samyukta Mataji, Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. एतावान् सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मा परिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभा परः पुंसाम् अन्ते नारायण स्मृतिः. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Translation, it's okay, Mataji. We have to learn other two. So, your translation koncham only Bhakti Vaibhav devotees.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Sandhya Mataji, please recite.
Prabhuji. एतावान् सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मा परिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभा परा पुंसाम् अन्ते नारायण स्मृतिः. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. I think Vani Mataji, you are ready?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm ready.
Do it. It's translation.
Translation chadamantaru. Sloka vadda Prabhuji?
Sloka plus translation.
Okay. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabdha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. Translation. Highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Lavanya, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Let me call names. Lavanya, Surendra Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu, Chandravel Prabhu. Please recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I am also there. Ram Reddy.
Yeah, recite.
Okay, Prabhu. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinistaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. Hare Krishna.
Lavanya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinistaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. Surendra Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu.
Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sapan Prabhu. Raju Prabhu. Yeah, let Raju Prabhu can. Sapan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinistaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Akinjan Prabhu.
Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Sarvadharma Parinistaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by the perfect discharge of occupational duties, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of the life. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Lavanya, want to do? We are going to do another 2 verses. Hare Krishna. Okay. He's not there anyway. I think everybody done. Yes, probably. These two will learn.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I got it.
This side.
Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi.
We'll go to new verses 2310 and Chaturshloka Bhagavatam 2933 today. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Over to you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah, this Akama Sarva Kamava, this says that in this whole shloka, na, one word is very, very important. Yajeta. And the fourth line, there is a first word known as Yajeta. That is very important word. Why we should remember this is, whatever you have, you just worship Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Now, this is the third lesson, third chapter of second canto, whereby Sukadev Goswami tells to Parikshit Maharaj that this is the main aim. Okay. At last, this is what you should remember. So no, it's not at last we should all remember. If you do it daily, then your goal will be fulfilled. Okay. What you should do daily, whether you have a desire to get liberated or whether you have material desires, you have a spiritual desires, but worship Krishna with force. This is what this shloka says. Whatever you have, akama or sarva kamava. If you don't have any desire, or if you have any desire, still with force worship Lord Sri Krishna or worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, yajeta means worship. This is important. No? This word is very important. Okay.
ప్రభుజీ ఇది ఏం కాంటెక్స్ట్ లో చెప్పారు? ఇది ప్రీవియస్ 2.3.9 చూస్తే మనకి ఐడియా వస్తుందా?
Yeah, 2.3. Third chapter is about this thing, na? What we say. He will conclude. Whom our Sukadeva Goswami will say that by doing some devotional services, or the importance of devotional service. Okay, here he will say that Sukadeva Goswami says to Parikshit that what I have described you till now, from 2.1 to 2.3, some 20 or 30 shlokas, 20 or 28 shlokas, is about jnana and karma yogas. But the ultimate thing is now what I am speaking to you. Okay, 3.10. ఇట్లా ఒక 15 శ్లోకాస్ ఇది చెప్పినాక తర్వాత సౌనకాది రిషిస్ విల్ ఇంటరప్ట్ సూత గోస్వామి. అరే ప్లీజ్ టెల్ us more. Please tell us more about this. Okay. అర్థమైందా ప్రభుజీ?
yes ప్రభుజీ.
Yeah, we have gone through all
ఇది కొంచెం ఈ కాంటెక్స్ట్ కొంచెం డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉంది. వెదర్ మెటీరియల్ డిజైర్ ఉన్నా లేకపోయినా, లిబరేషన్ డిజైర్ చేసినా, you must worship Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the preceding shlokas kuda, it must be relevant to this.
Yeah, actually 2.3 actually our Sukadeva Goswami tells about the importance of pure devotional service, how it is most important than any other things. Okay, now this 2.1 and 2 and 3, what are these things? These are the answers to the Parikshit Maharaj's questions of the first canto. Okay, Ardhavendra Prabhu?
Yes Prabhu. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
This is a conclusion of Sukadeva Goswami's answers. Conclusion in the sense, very brief answers these are. Okay, these are not elaborate things. Very brief answers. In this brief thing, this is the last. That bhakti is the highest, and this is one of such shloka. Okay. 4 or 5 shlokas after this, this one Saunakad Rishis, they will interrupt Sota Goswami. Please tell us more about this bhakti now. Okay. So did you understand na? The last shloka which we have studied or which we have recited till now, it was about what is the goal of the life. Like at the end time, you should remember Ante Narayana Smriti, Narayana. Okay. And here it says, how can you do that? Just by worshipping Krishna whole your life. Even though if you have desires, if you don't have desires, let whatever may come, or whatever you might have, but still follow this. Then you can fulfill the goal of your previous shloka, that Ante Narayana Smriti. Okay.
Yeah, understood.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama. I'm sorry. 3 devotees, you can go with synonyms, and 3 devotees with the translation.
Hare Krishna, hello.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Akama, one who has transcended all material desires. Sarva kama, one who has the sum total of material desires. Va, either. Moksha kama, one who desires liberation. Udaradhi, with broader intelligence. Tivrena, with great force. Bhakti yogena, by devotional service up to the Lord. Yajayita, should worship. Purusham, the Lord. Param, the supreme whole.
Yeah. Any more devotee?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
Akama, one who has transcendental all material desires. Sarva kama, one who has the sum total of material desires. Va, either. Moksha kama, one who desires liberation, Udaradi, the broader intelligence, Tivrena, the great force, Bhakti Yogena, by devotion service to the Lord, Yajeta, should worship, Purusham, the Lord, Param, the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Kama, one who has transcended all material desires. Sarva Kama, one who has the sum total of material desires. Va, either Moksha Kama, one who desires liberation. Udaradihi, with broader intelligence. Tivrena, with great force. Bhakti Yogena, by devotional service to the Lord. Yajeta, should worship. Purusham, the Lord. Param, the supreme whole. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, now 3 devotees can go with the translation.
I'll read Prabhuji translation.
Go ahead. Yeah.
A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead.
A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
A person who has the broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desires, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead.
Yeah, thank you so much, devotees. Now, please recite after me. How should I go? 2 lines together or a single line? This is a very small shloka, like our Bhagavad Gita shlokas. These are the 2-line shlokas actually.
Yeah,
So
two
I'll go
lines, yeah.
2 lines together. Okay. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi.
Akama sarva kama
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi.
Akama sarva kamo
Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo
moksha kama udaradhihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo
moksha kama udaradhihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo kama udaradhihi. Bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Yeah, now you can go with the individual practices. Okay. all the students who are doing Bhakti Vaibhav can go first, and then the other devotees can follow. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
I'll start, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udharadhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Thank you.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Raju Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, May is busy. He's busy.
Sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Giriraj Prabhu?
Yes. Prabhuji, mana Raju Prabhu, Vani Mataji, please read translation also.
Yes, Prabhuji. And only they ankuni only translation chadavakunda only shloka chadivanu.
Translation chadavanu parle.
Ippudu chadavana Prabhuji.
We need to write sloka plus translation, right? So that's where. Okay.
Yeah. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Translation: a person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Raju Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Translation: a person who has a broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desires, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. 2.3.10, second canto, third chapter, 10th verse. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader influence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. Haribo. So over to all the devotees. Quickly, Sloka recite in the end, please.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Hare Krishna.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Hare Krishna.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradihi तीव्रेण भक्ति योगेन यजेता पुरुषं परम. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaratihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
Pakinjam Prabhu?
I feel Chesheshla.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think we all done, no? So, okay. One more verse and we can do that and we can wrap up. Chatusloki Bhagavatam ki jai. This is the first verse, 2933. Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. So, Chatishloki Bhagavatam, a small introduction about this. 2.8, Parikshit Maharaj asked a lot of questions to Sukadeva Goswami. And the answers to those questions is the whole Bhagavatam. Okay. And Sukadeva Goswami tells that Lord Narayana has told to Brahma about the Jiva and Paramatma. And Chatushloki Bhagavatam actually connects there. Okay, it starts from there. Okay, now understood the background, right? 2.8 is where actually the Parikshit Maharaj asks many questions, and from 2.9 the whole answers of that question starts from 2.9 till the end. Okay, till the end of Srimad Bhagavatam. The answers for all those questions is in all these things, in all other cantos. It starts from Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Okay, everyone clear now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. In one such answer, Sukadeva Goswami tells that Brahma also posed these questions to whom? Supreme Lord Narayana. Then Narayana replied 4 shlokas. Those four shlokas are which we are about to study, right? Okay. Yeah. 3 devotees go with the synonyms and 3 devotees with the translation.
Yeah, I will go with synonyms, Prabhuji. Aham, I, the personality of Godhead, Eva, certainly. Awesome, existed, Eva, only, Agre, before the creation, Na, never, Anyat, anything else, Yet, all those, Sat, the effect, Asat, the cause, Param, the supreme, Paschat, at the end, Aham, I, the personality of Godhead, Yet, all these, Etat, creation, Cha, also, Ya, everything, Avasisheta, remains, Saha, that, Asmi, I am, Aham, I, the supreme person, the personality of Godhead.
Aham, I, I, the personality of Godhead. Eva, certainly. Awesome, existed. Eva, only. Agree. Before the creation. Na, never. Anyat, anything else. Yet, all this, all those. Sat, the effect. Asat, the cause. Param, the supreme. Paschat, at the end. Aham, I, the personality of Godhead. Yet, all this. Etat, creation. Cha, also. Ya, everything. Avashishyata, remains. Sa, that. Asmi, I am.
Yeah, done with synonyms?
Go devotee 3 times.
Yeah, one more devotee. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Aham, I, the personality of Godhead. Eva, certainly. Awesome, existed. Eva, only. Agre, before the creation. Na, never. Anyat, anything else. Yet, all those. Sat, the effect. Asat, the cause. Param, the supreme. Pashat, at the end. Aham, I, the personality of Godhead. Yet, all these. Etat, creation. Cha, also. Yeah, everything. Avashisheta, remains. Sah, that. Asmi, I am. Aham, I, the personality of God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Mother
two
is
more devotees. Two more devotees.
Quickly read.
Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I'll read Prabhuji. Translation Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. Please repeat this word after me. So, this is a bit tricky word here in this shloka. Sosmyaham. The last word. Sosmyaham.
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 Sosmyaham. Sosmyaham.
Sosmyaham.
Yeah, thank you. Aham samevagre. Aham samevagre. Ahameva samevagre. Nanyadyat sadasatparam.
Nanyadyat sad asatram.
Nanyadyat sadasatparam.
Nanyadyat sad asatram.
Nanyadyat sadasatparam.
Nanyadyat sad asatram.
Paschadaham yadetaccha.
Paschadaham yad etaccha.
Paschadaham yadetaccha.
Paschadaham yad etaccha.
Paschadaham yadetaccha.
Paschadaham tadeyatcha.
Yo vashishyeta sosmyaham.
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 Ahameva samevagre. Nanyadyat sadasatparam.
Ahmeva samevagre. Nanyadyat satparam.
Ahameva samevagre. Nanyadhyat sadasatparam.
Ahmeva samevagre.
Nanyadyat sadasatparam.
Ahameva samevagre. Nanyadyat sadasatparam.
Ahmeva samevagre. Nanyadyat sadasatparam.
Paschadaham yadetaccha. Yo vashishyeta sosmyaham.
Paschadaham yad etaccha. Yo vashishyeta sosmyaham.
Paschadaham yadetaccha. Yo vashishyeta sosmyaham.
Paschadaham yad etaccha. Yo vashishyeta sosmyaham.
Paschadaham yadetaccha. Yo vashishyeta sosmyaham.
पश्चादहं यदि तच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्।
अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सदसत्परं पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्।
अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सदसत्परं पश्चादेहम् अहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्।
अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सदसत्परं पश्चादहं 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 यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्।
Thank you so much, devotees. Now you can go for the individual practice one by one. First, those devotees who are undergoing this Bhakti Vaibhav can go ahead. Then the rest will follow. Thank you.
अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सदसत्परं पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्. Translation. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Vani Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's up to you, Prabhu. Yeah, welcome, Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Vani Mataji is still there, everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, do it. Sloka.
Aham eva samevagre nanyadyatsat asatparam paschataham yat etacha yo vashishyeta soasmyaham. Translation. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Raju Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I'm in hearing mode, Prabhuji. I'm going to office now.
Sure. Okay, thank you very much. I'll do that. It's okay. Ahamevasame nanyat sadasatparam paschadaham yadetacha yo vasishyeta soasmyaham. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. So no other entities. Yeah, please do yourself.
Aham eva samevagre nanyat yat satparam paschadaham yadetacha yo vashishyeta soasmyaham. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Ahamevasumevagre nanyat yat sadasatparam pashyad aham yadetacha yo vashishyeta soasmyaham. Hare Krishna.
Ahamevasame agre nanyat yat sadasat param पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्. Hare Krishna.
अहम् एव समेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सद् असत्परम् पश्चाद् अहं यत् एतश्च यो वसिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्. Thank you, Prabhuji.
अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यात् यत्सदसत्परम् पश्चाद् अहं यदेतश्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यत् यत् सत् असत् परं पश्चादहं यत् एतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Everyone done, na? Everyone done. Akinchan Prabhu, you want to do? Hare Krishna, Akinchan Prabhu. Anyway, it's okay. We'll wrap up. Thank you so much, devotees, for joining today. Reading, chanting, and sloka recitation. Again, Nandapranam, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Rupa Sindhu Evacha, Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Gaur Hari Premanande, Hari Hari. Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow.
गिराज प्रभु అదొకసారి స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయరా ఒక్కసారి ఇప్పటిది
చేస్తాను చెప్పండి.
ఓకే ప్రభు.
Want to recite?
I'll do it, Prabhuji. I have lot. There was a call actually. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do again, Prabhuji. I don't want to keep everyone waiting. Okay.
Yeah, later, tomorrow you can.
Yes.
Want to do or tomorrow?
No, I'll do tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
I'll just make it screenshot this call. I'll do tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. KC Tuesday. And now.